Hello and welcome everyone to How We Move the Decimal. This is our first video of 2022 and I'm just going to do a quick list with me. This is about a 30-minute video. I'm going to list 10 items in this 30 minutes and you can follow along. You can list your items while you're watching me list these items and hopefully you can be productive and I can be productive. Honestly, not many people are watching these videos and I wish more were watching it, but these videos are also holding me accountable because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a video, so I need to sit down and I need to list some items. And that's actually making me want to list. Like I've said in previous videos, we are very, very part-time when it comes to listing, maybe a couple thousand a year. Not a lot of income coming from this, but it pays for the extras. It pays for soccer, it pays for swim lessons, it pays, for maybe an extra day of vacation or an extra outing or like a zoo membership or a water park membership. It will pay for that. And that's honestly what we need it for. We don't need to do a full-time income off of this. Both my husband and I work jobs. I work part-time, he works full-time. And in the video, I'm going to talk a little bit about, how this year is changing for us, what we plan on doing this year, what we plan on doing for eBay. We do not plan on going full-time. No, I'm not making any announcements. I'm not making a course. I'm not going full-time. eBay, we're just going to chug along like we have been doing, but we're going to come at it a little differently with this in that, one, I want to keep recording videos. If nothing else, it keeps me accountable and it makes me list so much a week. I would like to list so many items a day, but I know that's not attainable for me, and that might not be attainable for you guys if you're really part-time sellers. I know a lot of the YouTube, eBay personalities are like, list 10 items a day, list 5 items a day. That's just not an attainable goal for me. And that's not an attainable goal for my husband or my family either. With activities happening, especially when activities start back up in the spring, I know that I'm not going to have the ability to do that. Case in point, I'm still listing things that I took pictures of in August. So those items, I've had photos of them, but I haven't been able to list them. And I was going through my computer, going through the files on my computer, and I realized that a lot of this, I have pictures of stuff that I don't think I've listed. So the next couple of videos are going to be me going through and listing those photos because I found them on a flash drive because my computer crashed last year and I'm pretty sure I moved those photos off and didn't put them on my new computer, so they never got listed. So I've been storing items. Apparently I'm in the storage business. I don't want to be in the storage business, and that's one of the things we want to change this year. I would like to get rid of the stuff I have. So I would like to get the things listed. I would like to get them sold if at all possible. I mean, that'd be the best case scenario, is to list and sell them. Worst case scenario is list them, they don't sell, and I donate. Medium is I just say screw it and don't list them and just donate them. I don't know what it's like where you guys are, but as of January 2022, today is actually January 12th that I'm recording this, a lot of places around us aren't accepting donations, and I don't want to throw the items away, so I'm storing them essentially until the donations open back up. And some places that are accepting donations, you have to schedule appointments and they're 3 or 4 weeks out. So I'm really having to look at items going, is this something that's donatable? Does somebody want this? If it's a broken toy, nobody wants a broken toy. You know, if you guys are thinking about donating stuff, nobody wants a broken toy. So maybe I just need to throw that away. But we did do our end of year inventory, which even if you are part-time sellers, you should do an end of year inventory. Everybody should do an end of year inventory for nothing else but tax reasons. And we found a lot of stuff that had just dropped off that was originally listed and it's not listed anymore. And so we have a pile of things that are not listed, and we had to go through that pile and go, okay, is it worth my time to list this again? Maybe it was very popular. Maybe it brought in a lot of money when it was originally listed, but maybe that brand dropped off, or maybe that market became oversaturated, or maybe, it was after a celebrity died or after a new movie came out. So maybe that's not as important anymore. So is it worth me spending my time to list this item? And we had to go through that and decide what we wanted to donate and what goes back into the this needs to be photographed and listed pile. Now, we number all of our tubs 1 through whatever. This tub, as you can tell, is 72. So over the past 5 years, we're up into the 70s now. This time around, so this December, we got rid of all of the 20s. So if a tub was in the 20s, we got rid of that. I'm pretty sure we skipped the 60s also. Like, I don't think I have any tubs in the 60s. I think I just skipped a 70, and I don't know why. But all of the 20s are gone. So we went through all of the tubs that were marked 20s. Thankfully, we were only down to 3 tubs total, and it was only 22 items. So I went through those 22 items and decided what is worth rephotographing and relisting as a new item, and what are we just going to donate. And we got down to 10 items that will be relisted. But when I do those items, they're in their own separate pile. So when I do those items, they get a letter. So all of the 1 through 10s, they're AA. The 11 through 19 is BB. So now 20 through 29 is CC. So I know when I go back through those items, so like next year when I go through tub AA, I know that, they went through probably 3 to 5 years of being in my inventory. At this point, it's time to donate it. After 5 years, they are not going to sell. Now, I know there's a lot of people that listened to the Scavenger Life when it was going on, and they did the list it and forget it thing. We have a limited amount of storage. We don't have outbuildings. We are literally using a shelving unit in our garage. And maybe I can do a video about how we do our inventory and storage too. And we would really like to use our garage for garage things. So we have a very limited amount of space. And I can't store items for 5+ years that just aren't going to sell. So by the time it gets to, next year, AA will be 5 years. Well, those items just need to leave. They need to leave my house. They need to be donated. So that's my storage system. And as you can tell, as I'm listing these items, they are in tub 72. The next the next things I photograph will be tub 73 and so on. And I don't know if I'll continue into the hundreds or if I'll start over again, knowing that I have no tubs 1 through 29, that they are all gone. And I combine tubs as they get things sold out of them, so I don't have 72 tubs in my house. That would be insane. Like, some tubs have 5 to 10 tubs in them, because if it gets down to 1 or 2 items, they get combined with another tub, and then it just gets a label. So all the tubs on the outside have like tub 56, 42, 38, like all of that would be labeled on the outside of it. There is some stuff I do have to store in our basement versus the garage. So we have the garage, we have a whole wall of the garage of tubs, and then we have 2 shelving units also in our basement, because our basement is finished. And it's climate controlled, so it has heat and air conditioning. So anything that could be climate sensitive, like slides or videos or cassette tapes or games, anything that could be damaged by heat or cold, candles, makeup items, all of that is stored in our climate controlled basement. And again, limited amount of space. We do like using our basement as like a great room, activity room for the kids to play in and stuff. So limited space needs to get out. Like, we just need to roll through this. Ironically, my son just had a growth spurt again, because apparently that's what 12-year-olds do, is they just keep growing. And I was going through my eBay inventory and I noticed that I had some pants that were actually his size that he needed, because right now, and I don't know what it's like where everybody is, but right now it's hard to find stuff on the shelves. I was like, wait a minute, these are his size. He can wear these pants right now. So I ended up pulling those off of eBay and he's wearing them. Now, he's really good with his clothes, and you guys have seen me list on here several large quantities of his old clothes because he's incredibly nice to his clothes. Unlike my girls, both of my girls just rip their clothes to shreds. So I'm like, well, when he's done wearing them, I guess I'll just list them again because they were used anyway. So this is where my hoarding tendencies or my eBay tendencies come into play. I was able to pull those pants out and he was able to wear them. And we've done this before where if he needed a costume or something, or if one of the girls needed something, I've looked in my inventory to see if I've had it. And sometimes I've had. And he's able to use it and I'm able to relist it and put it back in. But with that, I think that kind of goes with the word of the year. It's something my husband and I use. We don't do like New Year's resolutions or anything because I think those set you up for failure. Like once you fail one resolution, you're less likely to work for it because you're like, well, I've already failed this one, so what's the big deal? I don't know if I need to use that or not. I don't know if I need to have so many resolutions to set myself up for failure, like losing weight or exercising more or getting healthy or getting more sleep and all this stuff. And so we do a word for the year. And our word for the year is like reset or restart. And because of the past 2 years, because of, everything that's going on health wise for everything, we really got bogged down with we need to save it in case we can't get it. And we need to get over that. We have a lot of inventory that's not photographed and not listed because we bulked up when we could, because we were worried stores would shut down, we wouldn't be able to travel. We do travel to the Goodwill outlet, which is a little over 2.5 hours away from us, and we would get several hundred pounds while we were there and bring it back because we would only do it once every 6 months. Again, very limited, small time, part-time sellers. We would do auctions. One of our local auction houses did move online, which was nice, and we were able to do auctions there. But when it moved online, it became more competitive and more people were looking for stuff. I was able to find a couple things that people weren't really bidding on that ended up actually being very lucrative at the online auctions, but I can't rely on that. We do have to go pick it up in person, so either my husband or myself would have to be free during that time to pick it up, which is a time suck. Like I said when I was listing the slides video, we have thousands of slides, thousands of them. So if I ran out of inventory, I could hit the slides. Like I know I could have listings there. Clothes wise, we went through the garage over Christmas break while my husband and I were both off of work for those 2 weeks, and came up with about 4 large tubs of clothes. After doing inventory and everything, we have 4 large tubs of clothes that need to be photographed and listed. We went through and weeded a lot out of that, and that felt really nice. I'm trying to get out of the scarcity mentality where what if I can't get stuff to list? Because I think if I can't get stuff to list, I will find stuff to list. I'll start finding stuff in my own house to list. So I'm trying to get out of the scarcity mentality this year. I'm trying to get through what I have, list what I have, photograph what I have, and after that, if I run out, I will make a run to a store. If I don't run out, which I don't think I will, but if I do run out and I can't get to the store and I can't get new inventory, then I need to list slides. I have a bucket full of vintage buttons that I could go through and list that I'm just like putting off. I'm sure I can find other things to list. So I don't think I would run out of something, but I have that mentality. So that goes with the restarting or resetting using up what we have. And then that's just not just for reselling, but for other aspects of my life. I'm going to use up what I have before I buy new, just because things are expiring, things are going bad before I get a chance to use it. I come from a long line of preppers and hoarders. I don't know if it's an anxiety thing, but growing up, we would always buy more in case we can't get to it. Granted, I did grow up in an area where to get to the nearest store was 35 to 40 minutes. So I couldn't just leave and go get it. Where now I can just leave and go get it if I need it. And if they're out of it, then I just have to wait a little bit or find a substitute for what I'm needing. This whole pandemic thing, though, has ramped me up with that. Like, I need to get this. What if we run out of this? Especially in the beginning where we couldn't find like toilet paper and stuff. I was patting myself on the back because I was a prepping hoarder, and I was like, I've got enough toilet paper. We're cool. We're good. We don't need this right now. But that's my mentality, and I really need to work on it. My husband is completely different than me. He's if we're not using it, get rid of it. If it's less than $20, get rid of it, because we can always re-get it if we need it. And I'm more like, I need to keep this. What if I need this? What if my kids need this? What if something happens? I have a large craft area in our great room where I keep like everything, where I keep all, I'm like, well, what if we need this toilet paper roll for a craft idea? What if my kids need it for school? And it hasn't helped me any that, it's happened where a kid has come home and be like, I have to make a 3D art project. And I'm like, well, I have all these toilet paper rolls and I have these random cardboard boxes, and there you go. And it's worked out in my favor, which is just reinstating that I need to hoard. It's like, look, aren't you happy I had this? I always get extra school supplies when the school supplies go on sale in case my kids need them mid-year, because a lot of times they do, and it's hard to find them mid-year, especially the stupid kindergarten writing notebooks, the specific special kindergarten writing notebooks. It's incredibly difficult to find those mid-year. So when they have them at the beginning of the year, I stock up. But I know that that's not a great behavior. Everybody in my family, my husband included, called me a squirrel. Well, they'll, like, where'd she find it? Where'd she put it away? He'll be like, we need this, and I'll like, I've got it, and I'll go look for it and pull it out. And he's like, you squirreled it away, and I'm like, yeah, I squirreled it away. I'm a squirrel. So I'm trying to get better at that this year. I'm trying to be better at it. I'm trying to use up what we have and not get anxiety that it's gone. But it's difficult, and again, we're only on day 12 of the year, so it may or may not work out. But and we're trying to be more intentional with our inventory. Like, we were looking at our most recent trip to the Goodwill outlet that we did all the way back in August, and the stuff we bought then was way more intentional and was worth more money to sell than the stuff that we've had previously bought. I felt previously we were just like dashing, shoving everything in our carts. We weren't looking anything up. We were just assuming it was worth money. We weren't really going through it. And now when I looked at the stuff that we most recently got, I was like, okay, this is worth $40. This is worth $50. We were way more intentional with our purchases. We spent a lot less money on it, and we ended up getting less in the end, which is hard. Like, I think quantity, not quality, but we got way better quality this time with a much lower quantity, which I think is going to be a goal to go over. One of the unfortunate things we have seen in our area, at least, that the prices at the thrift stores have really gone up. And that's making my purchases a lot more intentional. Our Salvation Army has a half off color every week, and on Sundays they used to have that color for 69 cents. They no longer do the 69-cent Sundays, so the cheapest I can get that item is half off. So I really need to be intentional with my purchases, where before I could just buy it, like, well, it's only 69 cents. So if I only make $8 from it, that's fine because I only paid 69 cents for it. But now for like a pair of jeans, the lowest I will get them is $4. So I need to be intentional going, okay, I need to make more than $15 on this if I'm going to spend $4 on it. Very quickly back to the video, the item I'm listing now, I'm having a difficulty time describing the color. It's a Columbia fleece for a kid. It's a 4T. I don't know if it's green, if it's blue, if it's aquamarine, if it's teal, if it's seafoam. I have no idea of the color of this sweatshirt or this fleece zip front. So in the item description box, I'm honest about it. I say, I don't know if this is green or blue. I have no comprehension of it. Maybe those of you that watch the video can tell me if you think it's green or blue. I don't know, because depending on the light, like outside it's more blue, inside it's more green. I don't know. So I'm like, mint, aqua, teal, seafoam, mint, green, blue. I don't know. So I was having a lot of issues with that, and I feel like buyers appreciate when you're honest. You're like, I just don't know. I don't know what color this is. I can't tell you. It's a color. I'm not the best with colors, even though psychologically females are better with colors than males are. It's proven. There's studies. Look it up. I am not great with that. I can usually tell if there's like a difference, if the two colors are next to each other, but I'm not very good at telling the colors of this, where some people might be better at it. I'm very bad at dark colors. I usually have construction paper and a piece of black paper, a piece of black cardstock, construction paper, whatever, something that I know definitively is black. I will usually keep it to the side while I'm listing things. So when I list a pair of pants, I for sure know that they are black versus navy, or black versus dark gray, or black versus something or another. I'm also going back here because I don't know what it's made out of. I'm fairly certain it's 100% polyester. I didn't take a good enough picture of the tag though, so I actually went on Columbia's website, which is a valid thing for you guys to do. If you don't know the fabric content, just go to their website, and they'll usually tell you on their website, and on their website it said 100% polyester. So I just went to the website and looked at that. Fleece things, you pretty much think they're polyester, so I wanted to make sure, but that's, another hint, just go to their website, and a lot of times, you're able to see that. I also tried looking up the color on their website, and I couldn't find it. So that, unfortunately, that didn't work in my favor. But green or blue, it's green. It's really pretty. All three of my kids wore it, so it's been through 3 kids. And with this, again, if you don't know, just list it. Just say, I really do not know. Also list on measurements. If measurements are really off, and I do this a lot with vintage things, like this is vintage and it is very small. It says it's a large, it's very small. Please look at the measurements. I recently had an item returned because they said that it was smaller than the size they normally wear. I even had the measurements in the listing. So, including the measurements doesn't guarantee you won't get a return, but it does help in the process. And especially if someone has questions on measurements, I like to be able to refer them to a picture. Even if the picture does not make it into my actual listing, like I'll take extra measurement pictures, and they're in my Google Drive of my photos, so I'm able to just then go and see the extra pictures that weren't included and add that picture and send them that picture and be like, this is, from the measurements of what I took. You can see how I took the measurements and what I used, and go from there, because sometimes people take measurements differently, and that's why I like having the photo of the actual measuring tape on the item. And that saves me time in the item description, writing all that out. So that helps, because an listed item is better than a non-listed item.
Right.
Now we have a vintage Hawaiian shirt. There's no size on this. So on the size, I put like unsized. I, say, look at the item description, look at the pictures, because this is not sized. Some vintage things are not sized because a lot of times they use the scratchy paper tags, and people just cut those out. So with the cutting out of the paper tags, There's no size there. And quite frankly, I don't trust any vintage sizing because people are just so much smaller. And the size can be misleading. Same with, I think I list something here with a European size too, and I say, look at the picture. This says a 42, but it's clearly a 0. So look at the picture, look at this. I was talking about inventory and stuff and getting through it, and I have so much stuff to photograph downstairs. Again, I'm still listing things I photographed in August. Like I said, I like to photograph things at the end, like all at once, because I use our dining room table. I don't have the luxury of photographing here and there, photographing here and there, listing, photographing, listing. I have to, if I'm going to take control over the table, I do it. I take, like, it's a weekend thing. It's a several days thing. It may even be up to a week. And I'll just photograph everything I have, save the photographs, save them to my Google Drive also. As I list them on my computer, I delete them on my computer, but they do stay on my Google Drive just in case I need to reference them back. Every once in a while, I'll go back through my Google Drive and just delete items we no longer have. But honestly, there's so much room in there, I'm not that worried about it. And that would be my suggestion, not just with listing pictures, but like I have several different Google Drives. So every time you create a Gmail account, you also create a Google Photos account that goes along with that. And I utilize those all the time. My phone pictures go to a Google Photos for a certain account. My computer pictures go to certain photos. My videos go to certain Google account. And then like all of my eBay pictures go to another Google account. And you just get so much space. I'm not that worried about that. If it comes to it, I will delete them, but as of right now, I'm nowhere near using up that Google Drive. So that's my hint also. But I start work this coming week and my schedule is going to change. So listing, recording, photographing, all of that is going to change. And I have to figure out what I'm going to do with that and how everything's going to fit in. My kids, at least my older two, are going to start activities again soon, so that's going to be an issue. But my work is fairly demanding when it comes to odd times. Granted, I only work part-time, but only working part-time in my job, I'm also answering emails, doing things out of hours, sitting at the table doing things. I'm still not completely certain that my kids are going to stay in-person learning. There is a very large chance that they could be online virtual learning again, so I need to figure that all out schedule-wise. I need to have a moving schedule, a floating schedule, or whatever you want to call it. My husband's schedule is fairly consistent, which is nice. Mine is inconsistent. Mine changes daily. My Monday looks different than my Tuesday. My Tuesday looks different than my Wednesday. My Wednesday looks different than my Thursday. And not to mention like running errands and stuff, which I like to do while my children are in school. I like to get stuff done because grocery shopping without children is a vacation. And grocery shopping with children, especially in a high spread time of coronavirus, is not fun at all. And my 4-year-old is getting much better at wearing her mask, but it's still anxiety producing. And I still can't guarantee she's not going to lick something in the store. So if I can shop without my children, I like to get that done. So having, my children first priority, my job second priority, house upkeep third priority, eBay fourth maybe? Well, I mean the cat has to come in there too, so eBay fifth priority, sixth priority. It's so far down on the list that it's finding pockets of time to do it. Now, sometimes I can just sit and do it. I wish I could control the weather during the, awesome. Off times, or I may or may not have been listing some stuff on eBay during a meeting over Zoom, or going through photos or going through files. So Again, I'm finding pockets of
But doing
time
better
for
with
this,
working out,
but
like, I
I'm
was
not,
feeling
I
better.
don't have a consistent photo setup. I don't have a consistent, I list from this time to this time every day because my days are changing. I may have doctor's appointments. I may, have dentist appointments. I may have to go to my kids' school for some reason. My kids may be home because they're virtual learning. Uh, I have to take the cat
It's
to the
called
bed or go
burning the
take care of my
candle at
mom.
both
It's
ends.
because of that I just don't have consistency, and I know eBay has rewarded
Well,
me
like,
over the years.
I feel like a
I
little
know
bit
if
like
I'm
you did when I was
consistent I
growing up,
make
where you would bang your
sales.
feet at
I
every
know if
workout.
I'm consistent more of my stuff gets seen. I just
And,
don't have the
it's
ability
so
to be
selfish, but I don't
consistent,
want this question to get
unfortunately,
pinned.
which makes it
Like, I
difficult.
don't want to risk that.
So I guess my word of advice is have an inventory system. Start with an inventory system. Have an inventory system. Definitely do inventory at the end of the year. Um, Especially for tax purposes, do inventory at the end of the year. And be consistent. Be consistent, be consistent, be consistent. That is the best outcome I have found for listing has been consistency. The more consistent
Especially
I
with the
am,
kids with
the
school. Oh my
better
gosh.
my sales are. Running sales hasn't really
Like, I'm on pins and needles going, are they
affected
going
me.
back? Are
Running
they going back?
promoted listings hasn't really affected me.
They
Being
announced
consistent
2
is
of
the one thing that
CPS's
has
schools are
really
going completely
boosted my
virtual
sales.
until after
The more
Martin Luther King
consistent
Day.
I am, the more sales I make. But it's
The
hard.
18th.
It is very hard to be consistent when you don't have time set aside for this. Now, could I get up at 4 in the morning and be like crazy Gary V and list from 4 to 5 and then get up at 6, then at 6 to get ready for work and then get my kids' lunches ready and get my kids up for school and then I leave for work at 7:30 and then it's just, could I do that? Yes.
Yeah.
Would I be absolutely miserable? Yes. Now, if something happened and we needed an influx of income, would
And
I
the
do
only reason
that?
those schools are
Yes.
going virtual is they don't have
I
staff. All
also
their staff are out.
am thinking about listing some of our larger things I don't want to ship on Facebook Marketplace because I just don't want to ship them. Shipping rates have gone up
Right.
as of the 9th. So as of this past Monday, shipping rates have increased, which I think are going to
Well,
affect
or they have
buyers.
to do the quarantine.
Have I seen
So
it
they have to do the
affect
5 days. So if
buyers?
they're positive, they have
Yes
to do
and
5
no.
days.
Did I have to
Even if they're
increase some of
vaccinated.
my flat rate shipping stuff? Yes, I did.
So,
I was
so they're
shipping
either
flat rate
vaccinated
bubble
and
mailers
they're
at
all
a
stuck at the same
discount for
time,
the
which
buyers.
means
So I
they
was
were
shipping
doing
them
stuff at a
at
break,
$6
which they weren't supposed to.
and they went all the way up to $8.75. So
Yeah.
I increased it to $8. So I'm still
We
taking
were
a
safe. I mean,
75-cent
we
hit,
saw you on
but I
Christmas
think
Eve, and then we saw
that
Brian and Linda on Christmas Day.
that makes
We
it
didn't do
slightly more
anything
appealing
else.
that it's a flat rate of $8 versus $8.75
per
or whatever for the padded flat rate bubble mailers, which by the way, live and die by those. Those are great for jeans.
And I'm over
I
here like,
fit
we
bed
didn't do
sheets, jeans,
anything.
coats, anything that's super heavy, I fit in those. So I would highly suggest padded flat rates from US Postal Service. And we've hit the 33 minutes. I've listed my last of my 10 items, and thank you for watching this video, and hopefully I will have another one soon. But again, it's low on my priority list. So thank you, and stay tuned.